one step closer to realism. That's at least what I hope. Let's see. So, this is the first video on the shop table. This used to be my very main table to do everything. Repairing things, reviewing things, and now it is again. Pretty cool. Anyway, what's in this box is a world's first. Hopefully this will be a permanent new addition to my rig. We'll see. Let's open her up. Okay, first of all, this came from China, and it's barely banged up. Usually things coming from China get banged up a little bit more than this, but you notice right there and then like right here, but that's pretty much it. Okay, it's pretty well packaged, very lightweight. Let's open her up here. Well, look at that. Look at that little guy. This is smaller than I thought it was. Okay. A closer look at it. So it's got this little clamp here in the bottom. I can't really do a disassembly on this because it's actually riveted. I don't know if you can see that, but these are rivets. I got this unit for $115. I don't think it's able to compete with like Aeologs and like Husingfeld and stuff like that. But this is a cheap, small, dedicated sequential shifter. I'm gonna see if I can adjust the tension here because it's not actually, it's satisfying, but it doesn't actually provide a lot of resistance. This handle being very close to the base here, you know, you're gonna go grab it sometimes and catch your hand on the edges here. So I would recommend probably filing these down a little bit. I'm definitely gonna smooth that out, but we're gonna see how it feels. It's got an integrated USB cable, so you can't switch this out unless you take the unit apart. Let's see how long the cable is. Okay, it looks to be about 3 feet. So this is a little bit confusing. This unit is advertised as a Simvertex, but I don't see any branding. And the research I did on this unit, which there's no information on this thing. I mean, there's barely a description. I have found the exact same units, like same design and everything, as an unbranded unit. So I'm thinking what Simvertex did, because they do have a dedicated H pattern shifter, and that's their shifter. That's their design from what I can tell. It doesn't look like some like knockoff design. It's a unique design. But this one, I think they just bought the rights to make this, or they bought the rights to put their name on it or something like that, because there's literally nothing indicating that this is made by anybody. Like there's no logos. The only thing that's kind of similar is the finish, like the sort of like textured aluminum finish here. That's similar to their H pattern. Maybe they just acquired this real quick and cheap and just, you know, said like, hey, I'll give you a certain amount of cut if we can sell these under our name, you know, like, I don't know exactly what the deal is. You could tell that they were inspired by the Husingfeld and the Aeologs shifters because of like the sort of how it's put together. It's just like bent aluminum. Very lightweight, which is great for what I'm going to be using it for. Like, I want my rig to be as light as possible, and I mean you should too. You know, light and stiff. That's what's good. This handle is removable. We'll see what kind of thread pattern we're looking at here. Okay, that's not very standard, is it? And this is actually made out of plastic. I'm surprised to see that. I'm very surprised to see that actually. And it looks like it's just a compression fit. Let's see if this spins. That plastic sleeve, I guess you'd call it, is actually spinning on there, so that you might need to glue that. I'm not fond of this mounting bracket, and I really wish they would have given you like some options with this. My first initial impressions, I'm gonna say avoid this, but we'll see if my opinion changes on it. Here we go. I'm gonna see how well this clamps on before I take my Fanatic shifter off. Okay, this clamp is absolutely horrible. So, I mean, when I tightened it just now, it seemed like it was flexing like crazy. Maybe it'll feel better when I'm actually just using it, but we'll take the Fanatic shifter off, which I'm kind of thinking that this is gonna go right back on. I mean, not much resistance at all. Like, you know how the back of your pinky's weak as hell? It does got a satisfying sound. I'll give it that. The handle feels good. It doesn't feel like super high quality. There's a lot of play in the shaft. Like, a little bit is fine, but this is like, that's horrible. I'll try to tighten this bolt on the side. That's about as tight as it, yeah, it doesn't feel any different. It's about as tight as it'll go before I start stripping something. Or rounding something, rather. Very grindy sounding, and you can feel, I don't know if you can hear that. So that's the side of this rubbing on the outer housing here, the top plate. This shaft here will start wearing away at this top plate and introducing small metal shavings inside the components here, guaranteed, because this is not a finished piece of steel. It's not rounded off, it's very sharp. So this will start digging in the more you use it. Not only that, but it feels like the stop is not integrated in the design. It feels like the stop is just literally the edge of this rod hitting the edge of this top plate here. Like, that feels like the only stop. This hole will become elongated. Like, usually, like this kind of stuff, they'll have like some rods on the side that'll hit like on a reinforced piece of steel. But this is aluminum. This is a softer metal than steel, just inherently. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, do not buy this. I will provide the link if you're interested. I do not think this is a good purchase. So this is what I would consider throwaway electronics. And I'm gonna put this in that category because this I wouldn't even be able to sell this. Like on eBay, if I sold this for what I paid for it, I would feel guilty. This is the absolute worst quality product I have tested or reviewed in a very long time. Pretty much the most tactile feeling that you get from this is actually the rod hitting the edge of the plate here, the aluminum plate, the top plate. I mean, you can see right here, it's already chunking little, it's already taking little chunks of aluminum off, like just from actuating it a few times. Yeah, like there's little chunks of aluminum falling off right here. So yeah, so I'm gonna test this out. I'm not gonna test it out in VR because I don't want to cut the hell out of my hands. I will be filing these edges off. This is very poorly done. Simvertex, you need to take your name off of this. If this is not your design, you need to take your name off this. This will ruin your reputation, guaranteed. Like, if people associate your name with this product, you're not in good shape right now. I could see this product failing in less than a week. You know, just based on how it looks and how it feels. The word I would describe it as, just off the top of my head, is chintzy. This feels very chintzy. I will say the clamp does work. It feels like it's, oh, no. Yeah, it moves around. So, yeah, like in the heat of battle here, I think this is gonna move on me. If this is not your product, Simvertex, like I said, not only am I gonna recommend you take your name off this, but I'm gonna recommend you sue whoever designed. Look, oh man, I could barely undo it because it was like bound up. And unfortunately, you can't just take this bracket off and attach it on the sides or on the bottom. That's the unit. Like I'm gonna probably peel this off and see if there's some mounting holes. Maybe there's like some screws. You can take this whole thing off. But yeah, this is not looking good for you, Simvertex. Wow, this like mars the hell out of your. If you got painted aluminum extrusion and you care about your finish, this is not going to be a good time for you. Like it's marring the hell out of my extrusion. My computer is going to sound like it's a jet engine because I I'm overclocking the hell out of my graphics card and my CPU and my RAM, so I have it set for maximum cooling. And I know my fans are probably going to wear out quicker and all that, but by the time those fans wear out, I'm not going to even have that graphics card. So we'll try it in some Dirt Rally. Of course, I got to plug it in first, don't I? I'm assuming this doesn't need to be USB 3.0. I don't think there's much fancy about the electronics inside of here. I really thought that this product was going to be comparable to Aeologs and Husingveld in terms of the build quality. The price is literally, right now it's going for $140. Can you imagine paying $140 for this, and this was the product you received? Like, it feels like an unfinished prototype, and not even one of the good ones that was successful. It's already digging into the aluminum here. That's crazy. Like, how would anyone think that would work? They need to shut this product down. This is not worth $140. It's not even worth $100. I would pay, I'd be happy paying $35 for this, and I'd be like, okay, this is a good product for $35. Not $135, not $140 plus shipping. Like, that's ridiculous. So we're not going to do anything crazy here. We're just going to literally jam out on some game here. We're not going to go for times. I don't care if I crash. This is literally just to get a feel for this shifter and see if it works, first of all. Watch it not even work, like it doesn't do anything. That would be hilarious. Not in a good way, but it would be hilarious in a Jesus kind of way. So it's instantly recognized in the same exact way almost as the Simvertex H pattern. This one up here is the H pattern, and this is the sequential. So okay. Well, nothing wrong with that. Can you imagine just like reaching for that and just gashing yourself? Be glad that I purchased this and you didn't. Like, this is yeah. Man, I got fucking ripped. It needs to have more resistance, definitely. Hands down, it needs to have more resistance. We'll get into that when I finish this race, I guess. All the complaints I have. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it just feels like a wet noodle. I mean, it works. There's that going for it. Shit. I usually play in VR, so this is a jarring experience. My monitor is actually placed to the right. And about like 5 feet away from my face. It's only like a 20-inch screen. I'm not going hard on it. Normally I'd be shifting a lot harder than this. Especially in VR. When you kind of get like more in the moment. But I'm like hyper aware of cutting my wrist right now. I really don't. So I'm not like reaching for it all quick. The shifter rod feels really good. I was really hoping I was gonna like this thing. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not a quality product. It just isn't. It feels cheap in every way. I mean, it's one of those things like where you're like, well, what do you expect for $100-something bucks, right? But it's like I expect way more than this for $100. For instance, let me pause this here. For instance, think about the Aeolog shifter. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Aeolog shifter is, what is it, $165, I think, shipped? Something like that. So this is, like, what is it, $20 less. And not only that, you have to wait like a month to get it. It just doesn't feel good. First of all, I'm going to get to the bottom of this and see if this is actually their unit. You know, because if they're owning up to this, they have problems right now. And their problem is this. This doesn't feel like anything that would belong in a car. Like, look how thin the aluminum is. I mean, look at that jiggle. So sloppy. If you can see right there, this grippy foam stuff is already wearing down to the bare aluminum right there because it's just such poor quality. That's unfortunate. So this is screwed on from the inside. So the only way to get to that is if you drill these rivets out. So I can't even take this thing off and then modify it to mount it like on the side like this. If you think about it, oh, I just dropped it. Let's see if it survived. Seems to have. That's just like a little free-floating symbol, like one of those little monkey symbols, like this. It's actually got a pretty nice ring out there. So if you accidentally bought this and you're trying to figure out how to mount this, maybe this video you can use it for that. Let's go ahead and take this unit and file these edges off, and I'll show you that process, because you know, might as well make this into a video tutorial if you accidentally bought this and you know, now you're trying to figure out what the hell to do with it. So let's get these edges off. Okay, I want to start off by saying this is in no way, you know, a knock to Chinese products, because there's many Chinese products that I'm a big fan of. So when you hear people say like, "Oh, it's made in China, it's got to be garbage," that's not true, and it's like borderline racist. Maybe not even borderline. That's just like straight up racist. I'm gonna put this over here so it doesn't get into electronics. But wow, that's really soft aluminum. So yeah, what I was saying is not every Chinese product is bad. You know, there are many American products that are bad. Like when people say like, "Oh, it's made in America, it must be good." You know, that's not necessarily true. Like, it has to do with someone's work ethic and a lot of different factors. It's not just all about where it's made, you know. So luckily, because this is such soft aluminum, I'm literally barely touching this aluminum. It's just coming off like butter. I'm basically just finishing their job. Like this should have been something that they did before it left the factory. Like, I don't know if you can see how little I'm applying force. Like I got my pinky up and everything. Like I'm literally just using the weight of the file. Simvertex, what are you doing? Like, you're striking out. I was like literally in your corner like, man, these guys are just knocking out of the park with their first product. If this is your second product, I'm not saying to give up if you design this, but you need to improve this design. Straight up, this is a horrible design. Like, there's nothing user-friendly about this. I mean it's user-friendly in the fact that, you know, it's easy to use. This isn't something I should have to do in the review of the product. Like, this is something like later on, like, you know, Simvertex sequential shifter mods video. Like, not like, in order to get this to not cut the shit out of your hands, you know, like, this should be something to improve the product, not to finish it. I mean, I'm not even worried about getting aluminum shavings in the electronics at this point. Like, you can't really hurt this thing more than the design itself. I mean, guaranteed there's gonna be more aluminum shavings going in this hole by using it than there are, you know, just finishing it right now. And that's pretty sad to say that. Yeah, I can literally shave this aluminum with this razor blade. Wow. Do not buy this product. If they come out with version 2 and I end up buying it, or they end up sending it to me for some reason, or I'll give it another chance. This should be like product development, you know. This shouldn't be like final product stuff. This should be like something like they send out to someone and be like, hey, let us know what we can improve on. Like, if I filed this down smooth, the very edges wouldn't be attached anymore. Like, that's just a bad design. Let's mount it back up and then I guess see what else I have to say about it. You know what? For the sake of this video, and the sake of Simvertex cleaning their act up, I'm gonna file these rivets off. I'm going all in. There's no coming back from this in terms of like being able to return it. But I'm gonna do this for the video. Yeah, we're gonna see what I paid $115 for. First of all, This rivet is already almost dead. I'm gonna make this thing at least as good as it can be for my uses. So I'm gonna take this bottom clamp piece of shit off and I'm gonna hard mount it from inside. Okay, let me get something to pry this up with. I'm gonna have to punch these roll pins out probably too. You know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna use its own handle. This is no showpiece here. Even that's not high quality. Yeah, it's like a 2.5 or a 3. Okay. We might actually be able to turn this into a decent shifter with some mods here. This is probably my first review slash mod video I've ever done. Like, they completely blocked user access by doing this. And I don't know if it's because they're ashamed of what's in here, or they just don't know how to design something for someone to be able to maintain it easily. And that's why I said, like, this is basically a throwaway piece of electronics. They actually used a washer in there at least. That's kind of cool. And the hardware they used in here is actually not bad quality, so that's in their favor. I'm already kind of getting some ideas as to how I could modify this. It's a relatively simple device. Yeah, so while this covers off, I'm gonna finish this piece of steel so it doesn't dig into the sides of the top aluminum plate. I'm gonna make it to where I can attach this thing with just the base itself somehow. Okay. Well, look at that. That's worth $140. They just straight up tied a knot right there so this won't come off. I mean, it works, I guess. There's like someone's hair in here, like whoever assembled it, there's their hair. That's kind of cool. And you can see right there, that's a little ball detent that's giving it that clicking sensation. It actually feels pretty good by itself, but once you add the weight of the handle, it's just too much mass. So actually, if I made like a plastic handle, this unit might actually feel better right out the gate. But yeah, you can just see that there's the mainspring right there. It's riding on this. You know what's funny is they could have easily just threaded this shaft for the same diameter threads as this screw here. I'm definitely going to tap some threads into the top here so I can, you know, maintain this unit. Tapper do? So now we'll tap these holes here. I don't know what I want to tap them for yet. I'm thinking like a M4. So I'm thinking just like a single screw right here, and because the unit doesn't require much force to actuate, I think a single screw will be fine, and I'll be able to slip past this stuff, you know, with a tool. Let's just say this wasn't in the plans, you know, for the review. Oh, well, that's about as clean of an edge as they left us, so maybe we'll just leave it like that. We'll save that for some kind of a bracket. Well, it's already looking more like it should, I guess. This aluminum is so soft.
How soft is it?
When chunks of it roll up on this the file here, it's actually digging into itself. Like, it's damaging itself. So now we're gonna drill a hole right here. We gotta find the right drill bit size. It's about right. Let's see. Yeah, that's the right size. Okay, that's our mark right there. I'm gonna be careful because otherwise, if I tighten this too much, it'll probably fold in half. This drill bit is bent. Yeah, it sure is. I'm actually digging into the circuit board a little bit, but at this point, I'm not really sure I care. That's probably the ugliest job I've ever done, but it's kind of fitting, isn't it? Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I think that'll be more than solid enough. Oh yeah, okay, this will work. These lips here are gonna get in the way, so I'm gonna have to make some clearance for the bolt head. And we'll make a little notch. Okay, there's our notch. And now, We're going to take a round file and file that until it's suitable. Well, it turns out I can't find a round file, so I'm just going to use the knurling on the back of this punch. See if I can get enough clearance with that. You never know what you're going to get until it's in your hands, huh? I don't know if you can see in there, but I'm going to use this style head instead. Okay, now we got to tap these, and then we're done. This is probably one of the best examples of making lemonade with straight up diarrhea juice. This is the kind of stuff that they could have done, but literally just chose not to. Probably so you wouldn't open it up and find out how shitty things are. And there we go. Yeah, that works way better. Now, since I've literally mangled this, we might as well go for a brushed finish. I'm gonna scratch it all in one direction. This is one of those situations where you kind of just want to get this right from the start, because this will be a huge pain in the ass to adjust this after the fact. Well, the cool thing is now we can get the exact angle we want. Gotta love that. I'm thinking something like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and wrench her on down. There's my new shifter. Well, that was an adventure. This light is bright as hell. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.